wanted to talk to you today about a subject that quickly came to my attention after I received a text this morning. And what I want to talk to you about is our coins. It seems like all over the country, we're hearing that stores are going coinless. The question is, why? So that's what I want to address. Someone I know went into a store today and there are signs, it actually is a store that I work at, there are signs saying that they will no longer be giving back coins and change because we are having a coin shortage. The question is, why are we having a coin shortage? Many are saying we are experiencing a coin shortage right now because many people have not been bringing their coins into the store due to the coronavirus pandemic. Whether this is a fact or not, I don't know, but I want to do a little research and I want you to join me as I talk about this situation. So this morning I did some research and found out that the United States has always been looking for a one world currency. There is not a country on this earth that does not know what a United States dollar is, USD dollar. And it can be traded for any other currency in the world. If you're traveling abroad, if you want to send money on the internet, whatever, it can be exchanged. But with that exchange comes a rate. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the money and what is going on in my perspective. There's something called cryptocurrency. This is such a hard word to even say, but cryptocurrency enthusiasts want national digital currency. So in order for that to happen, all of the bills and coins would quickly become extinct because they would not be allowed in any country. And technically our United States dollar would not be of value anymore. But United States wants to beat China and other countries at coming up with this one world payment system. So, like I said, I'm not a professional on the subject, but I just want to share with you some of the information that I have found while researching today online. Let me just start by talking about our country as a whole. And one of the things about our country is we have an American Constitution that is unlike any other. According to the rest of the world, we are the number one country. We are the most sought after country. We are the country that people want to be most like. But things have not been exactly perfect in our country for a long time now. There's been so many problems with racism, theft, different things, people making counterfeit money, people stealing from their neighbors. Who knows? It's just the world seems to have gone mad. So I want to first start out by going over our American constitutional rights, our Bill of Rights. And I just want to summarize a little bit of that and before we go on. First of all, we have a freedom of speech, which I am exercising right now. You can exercise it on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, many places. Sometimes our freedom of speech gets us in a whole lot of trouble. But that's what I'm exercising right now, is my freedom of speech. That is the right to assemble to fix problems that our country have had, whether it is racism, monetary problems, government, school systems. We have a right to our opinion. Also, under the freedom of speech comes the right to religious practices. It simply means you have a right to practice your religion in any way you see fit, but you do not have a right to enforce it upon another person. And the government does not have a right to choose one religion as their sole religion, because that would go against the right of our freedom of speech. We have a right to bear arms. Of course, you know that means we have a right to bear guns. Many times, our governors, senators, whoever is in charge of all this, many times they have tried to take away our rights to bear arms. We have fought against that, and we will continue to fight against that because we have a right to protect ourselves. If I can't protect myself in an instant when I need to, then the government is not going to get there quick enough to do it. So I believe in the freedom of the right to bear arms. The third thing on our Bill of Rights, you'll have to forgive me, every now and then I have to look down at my notes. But the third thing on our Bill of Rights is that it prevents the government from forcing soldiers to use your home in the time of war to come in and use as a base or a place of hiding out or whatever. They're not allowed to do that. Your home is your home. Pretty much the rest of the Bill of Rights channel around the same thing. You have the right to prevent the government from forcing a soldier to use your home in a time of war. There's also an unreasonable search and seizure of private property. Number 5 is if there is a serious criminal charge against you, it must be stated in a grand jury. You cannot be charged with the same crime 2 times because that is considered double jeopardy. So that was number 5. It's called due process of law. Number 6, you have a speedy and public trial that is fair, and you will have a lawyer who will fight your cause. And even if that lawyer thinks you are guilty as sin, they still have an obligation to defend you as best they can. You will be allowed a jury trial. Jury trial is a trial by your peers. They are to be, what is the word I'm looking for? They can't be biased in any way on your religion, your color of skin, the place of business you work, what kind of crime you have committed. They can't be biased in any way. They have to be fair and open-minded to hear what the lawyer has to say and allow you a proper defense. Number 8 means that if there is a bail or fine set before you are allowed to be set free, it cannot be in excess of what the government allows. And there also cannot be any unfair or unusual punishment. You know, unfortunately, we live in a time where people are scared, and sometimes even our police officers, they do administer unfair punishment. A lot of times it is simply because they are afraid, and a lot of times it is because they are racist. It's just what it is. And it's wrong. We all deserve to be treated fairly. We all deserve the same respect, no matter what the color of your skin, your religion, where you work, what country you live in. You deserve the same fair due process that has been mentioned all the way from number 4 through number 10 of our Bill of Rights. You have a right to be treated fairly. Number 10 says the federal government only has the powers that is delegated to it. If there are other things that aren't listed, it belongs to the state and to the people, not to the government to make decision. And I think I left out number 9. It does not mean people do not have rights that have not been spelled out. So even though it may not be written on paper in the Constitution, there are still rights that we are given that are not completely spelled out. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention before I even started. One of the things that I think is wrong with this system is now, without asking the people, all of a sudden we have no rights to use or receive our coins back from our store. How long until the same thing is done with our dollar? My question is, are we going to stand back and let this happen, or are we going to do something about it? I personally think maybe it's time I start pulling out more currency and less cards. You see, all of this began many years ago when we were given a Social Security card. People don't realize that we have been in this conditioning process for many, 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 many years. In 1862 was when the Legal Tender Act was brought into play. It was the 5th Amendment to our Constitution and allowed us to have change and bills as our legal currency. Something we have used ever since that time, and it has worked well. And suddenly, the government, I feel, has decided it's not working so well, let's change it. And like I said in my research, I have come to the conclusion that they are trying to beat out China or possibly Korea. Because what many people don't know, we're being told now that the shortage of coins has come about because of the pandemic. And I'm sure that, yes, there are more people that are buying online. There are more people who are coming into the store and maybe using their credit cards, their debit cards, because they're afraid that the banks will not allow them to have cash if there is a crash on the bank system. So they are using their money to hoard at home in order to make sure that they have money for the future. The problem is, if their money becomes extinct, the government could stop accepting their money, and then all the money they're hoarding may no longer be there. I really don't know. But what I do know is we have to stop it. And the only way to stop it is to spend more cash. Okay? I myself like to pay my bills online. I like to pay with credit card because I get points, I get cash back. But maybe I am one of the people who have created the problem. I don't know. All I know is now we're at a place we need to make some decisions. We as a people need to figure out how to stop being controlled by the government, by places of business, by places who are trying to tell us what we can and cannot do. Yes, during the coronavirus, we were asked to wear gloves. In the beginning, it was because you were handling merchandise that maybe someone may have coughed on, spit on, sneezed on, whatever. And you did not want to pick that up and scan it across your scanner because it might have some kind of disease on it, namely the coronavirus, and you did not want to get that. Also the same with money, although it was not even mentioned at that time. Money was still allowed, even though it is the dirtiest thing that you could possibly handle. But dirty or not, I don't want to lose my money. We were taught to wear gloves. And then it went from, okay, it's not about hand contact, it's about saliva. It is, let's wear a mask. Everyone must wear a mask because you want to make sure someone does not spit in your face, cough in your face, and you do the same. So now we're wearing masks. Once again, our state government is requiring us to wear a mask every time we go into any published establishment. I completely understand the reasoning. I wear my mask. I'm not going to say anything against wearing the mask. But what I am going to say something against is, once again, it's allowing the government to have a measure of control over us, and we are losing our civil rights bit by bit. No, I do not agree with going out into the streets and causing riots and mayhem to preserve our civil liberties, because that's not the way it's done. It was always done through proper means of picketing and protest, peaceful picketing. Now we have come to another place. I don't know if many of you realize it, but we, like I said before, we are the #1 currency. Most of you don't even realize how many currencies exist in the world as we know it. But there are so many currencies. There is the euro, which is used in Europe and Greece and Germany. There is the yen that is used in Japan. There is the franc, which is used in Switzerland. The CAD, which is used in Canada. The rand in South America. The real in Brazil. The peso in Chile, Philippines, Mexico. The krone in Denmark. Pakistan and India use the rupee. Sweden uses the krona. Israel uses the new shekel. Indonesia uses the rupiah. Hungary uses the forint. Believe it or not, in Canada, they are using plastic bills now. They're not paper anymore, they're plastic. Australia is also using plastic. My friend that lives in Canada was telling me today that not only do they use plastic bills in Canada, but they also smell like maple syrup, which is what their country stands for. Is, you know, that's their maple leaf is their symbol. So, you know, that's their way, and it also has the little holographic symbol going through it to make sure people don't counterfeit. So there are many different currencies, there are many different ways, and what United States is trying to do is come up with a one world currency that will fit everyone. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that I don't believe that's ever going to happen. I think that the end of the world will come before we have a world currency. Doesn't mean they're not trying, but I don't believe it will happen. What a lot of people who don't ever spend money overseas, or maybe who don't travel, one thing you don't understand is when you trade out the currency from one country to another, there's a fee attached to that. You can use your PayPal card, but you'll also pay a fee. You can use your Bitcoin, but you're going to pay a fee. You can use your Western Union and send money that way, but there's also a fee. So everything that you change to a different currency or pay with a card, there's a fee attached. When you go into a store and use your credit card for a purchase, the store pays a percentage for the use of your card. It used to be 2.75% that the store would have to pay. I'm not sure what it is at the present time. But every time you swipe that card, you may be getting some money back at the end of the year, but the store is having to pay a percentage because you used it. I can't understand why the stores would want to do away with cash when it's going to cost them more. But I'm sure the government has probably promised them something in trade for that. Maybe they will get a contribution. Maybe they will get a tax write-off at the end of the year. I really don't know. But for some reason, the government is trying to go cashless. And in order for them to do that, everyone will have to use debit, credit, Bitcoin, American Express, PayPal. There's a bunch of different, there's the cash now. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of way to pay online. And that's what they're coming to. So the store that was in question this morning that my friend texted me about, she was told that you can no longer receive coins back when you make a purchase. If your amount of money is over 50 cents, they expect you to round it up to the next dollar and give that amount to the charity, which would be the charity that their store promotes. Or you would get the change back on a card. Well, if that store has a discount card, I believe the money goes on that discount card. So I guess it would be used like a coupon the next time you purchase. I really don't know, because so far I have not been in the store to work to use that system yet. The thing being, is that really fair? Is it fair to expect people to automatically donate or automatically put it on the card? What if I go in the store and that 50 cents stands between me and having a meal today? And I wanted to go get just a package of, gosh, what can you get for 50 cents? Maybe I need to mention more money. Okay, maybe that is 79 cents. Maybe your change would have been 79 cents and you're expected to either donate it or lose it or put it on a card. But you really wanted to go into the next store you go to, maybe a Family Dollar, a dollar store, whatever. You want to go into that store and you want to buy a candy bar, because today they have them buy one, get one free, and they're 79 cents. Guess what? You don't get your 79 cents. You can't go into the next store and spend it. Is that really fair? I think not. If we go to a cashless society, what you really truly do not realize is there's so many stipulations to that. You can't tip a bellboy. You can't tip an Uber. You can't pay someone to come and mow your grass because you have to pay them through PayPal. A lot of people don't even have PayPal. You can't give your kids change. No money under the pillow for a tooth fairy. No change for doing an odd job. This bucket of change you have, it may not be worth anything. It may just be a loss, or it's possible it could be even more valuable than ever before, because they're trying to say online that if you don't spend this penny, that someday it may be worth $10,000. So therefore people are thinking, oh, I think I'll hang on to this penny. So more people continue hoarding cash. You know what? This penny's probably going to be worth less. It's probably really, truly not going to be worth more. And that brings me to another thing. We're being told that the reason why there is a change shortage was because of the coronavirus, which is not true. Korea started this thought process in 2016. They started experimenting with it in 2017 by removing the coins. What has happened with it since that time, I'm really not sure. But what I do know is it is not something that just started because of the coronavirus. Yes, it may have been brought up again because of that, but it is something that has been in the making for several years. Don't be fooled. The Bible tells us that there will come a day where no man can either buy, sell, or trade without a mark in his hand or his forehead. And that day is quickly approaching, more so than we realize, because it's went from we all get a social security number, then it went from we're paying with cash, to later on, let's pay with a check. It's easier to do, just write a check and put it in the mail because it's not safe to send money in the mail. People may steal it. To credit cards, that so many people have gotten themselves so indebted with credit cards that it has become a disaster. To debit cards, therefore your money must be in your bank and you spend it with a card straight from your bank. You don't have to deal with cash. So now the primary types of payment are no longer even the credit card. Most of the time they are PayPal. It comes directly from your bank with one little tap on your phone, one little button on your phone, Cash Now, PayPal, Quick Pay, whatever. There's so many different ones out there. Just type in what you want to send and send it. We got to be careful. We have got to be careful because we are becoming exactly what was mentioned in the Bible, a cashless society. If we allow this to go on and we don't stand up for our rights, there will no longer be currency. There will no longer be cash. And then we come to the point of people may steal your card. So therefore you need to make sure it is on a cash card. In order to use your cash card, you have to have a PIN number. Right now, if you don't know your PIN numbers, you can usually get online and you can reset your PIN number. But what if it comes down to, well, we can't allow that anymore because someone else could reset your PIN number? You have to remember yours no matter what. If that happens and you've forgotten your card or your number, you have lost everything you have and there is no way to retrieve it. So that brings me to the next step. If that doesn't work for you, then what's to stop them from now implementing the chip in your hand? Because you can't lose it. You don't need a PIN number. You don't need a card. It's not going to be dirty like money. It's just a part of you and who you are. And when you die, technically, your money dies with you. Think about it. I'm really disturbed by all of this, and I never dreamed I would live in the day and the time of a cashless society. I never dreamed I would live in what the Bible calls the end time. But it's here, it's fast approaching. We've got to be vigilant, we've got to be ready. We got to keep our hearts right with God. We got to treat our brother the way God wants us to treat our brother, regardless of his color, regardless of his race, where he came from, what he does, who he is, whether you like him or whether you don't. We got to treat each other with kindness and love. We've got to come together and be ready as a people for whatever comes next, whether it is what the Bible speaks of and many people don't believe, the rapture of the church, or whether it is tribulation and we have to fight for everything we got. Many people have come through my line at the stores who have hoarded groceries and have hoarded money, and they say they're doing it because they believe. They believe this is going to come to pass. I'm a believer. I believe it's going to come to pass. I pray it doesn't come to pass in my time, but it's going to come to pass in somebody's time. The world is in a mess, and we have to do our best to fix it. But if our world is not fixable, it will come to an end as we know it. And much of it begins with this. More of it begins with this than you realize. I don't even know what to say. All I know is a cashless society, a changeless society, paper currency society. If it comes to an end, so does many, many, many of our freedoms. We as Americans built our country on freedom. We as Americans have to fight for that same freedom every day, every minute, no matter what. Don't let anyone take our freedoms away. One other thing that was mentioned is the reason we have a coin shortage is people have supposedly not brought their coins in. People come into these stores and they cash their coins into what's called Coinstar. With Coinstar, you bring your coins in, you put them in a machine, it counts them, and you go to the register, you turn in your receipt, and it gives you the amount of money that your coins are worth. The internet is saying that the machines are not working. That is why there is no currency. But I know the machines are working because I've seen them work. I know if you go to the bank will tell you they have coins. They have more coins than they have ever had at one time. There is no coin shortage. The coins are being withheld from us. Why the government is withholding the coins from businesses is strictly because they're trying to do away with coins to control our money. My theory is all of the stimulus money they've been given, this is a way of them getting back some of that. Whether or not it's true or not, I don't know. But I do know that every other form of payment you spend, the government gets some money from it. There is a percentage that goes back to the government. Cash, they get no percentage back. So this is a way of them recouping some of their losses. In my research, I found out that 90% of all US dollars have no physical existence. Technically, it means that digitally, the money exists, just like adding numbers on your calculator. But physically, there is no money to back up the money spent. Only 10% of our money actually truly exists. The rest is completely digital. So another part of control, in my opinion, your Social Security deposits are made digitally directly into your account. Your paycheck is sent directly to your account. Your payments that you make, most of us set them up digitally so that they immediately come out of our account and pay the bill. 90% of our cash really doesn't exist. So, I don't know what we're supposed to do. I don't know how we're supposed to fix this. But if the government is looking for a brand new, cool way of currency or way to protect us or whatever their theory is, it will be detrimental to us if we allow it to happen. We have got to stop it. We have always prided ourselves on being Americans. Everyone wants to live the American dream. We can't let our American dream become a nightmare. China wants to do it, let them do it. Korea wants to do it, let them do it. We as Americans have got to stand up for our rights. I don't know what else to say. We've got to stand up for our rights. If we don't, no one else is going to. Do you honestly think those in leadership are going to stand up for our rights? They can say it's the Democrats' fault. No, it's the Republicans' fault. No, it's the ones who want to be socialists' fault. If we lose our cash and we lose our rights as Americans, it's not their fault. It's our fault. Because we did not see it coming and we did not do something about it. It's up to us as American citizens to start fighting for our rights. It's up for us to fight for our coins, for our bills, for our freedom of speech, for our freedom of religion, for our freedom to bear arms. We got to fight for that. We got to fight for our kids, because if this generation has become desensitized, the next generation has no hope. They literally will have no hope. What are we going to do about it? I don't know about you. But this is all I can do about it. I'm speaking right here on this video, and right now that's all I can do about it. I want to keep my cash. I want to keep my bills. And to be honest with you, if you forbid me to do that, I will be looking to see if anywhere out there is shopping that can be done who does still look out for my freedom. I've said a lot, but technically I'm speechless on what we have allowed. Please stand up and fight for your freedoms. If you don't do it, there's no one else out there that's going to. I love my country. I am happy to be a United States citizen. I will fight for my country in every way that I know how, but I'm just one small voice. One small voice. And it takes us all to change our circumstances around us. Why stores are being told that there are no coins or that there's a coin shortage? My only guess is we're following in the footsteps of Korea and China and other countries because we want to be better than them. I love all those countries and all those people, but when it comes to our economy, we're already better than them. Why would we want to destroy it? I admonish each of you to stand up and fight for your freedoms. Fight for your right to pay for your merchandise any way you see fit. I don't know what else to say. Thanks for joining. I may have to visit this again in the future because I'm sure there's a lot more information out there. But right now, we need to fight for the legal tender that was given to us in 1862, the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution, and don't allow anyone to steal that from us. I don't know about you, but I'm going to have to start spending more cash because I refuse to allow my cash to be taken away because I know what's coming down the road. And I don't want that for my family. I don't want that for my grandchildren. I don't want that for future generations. Thanks for joining. Bye.